1, 2, 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Notion Club. I am Ethan, and joining me today, and as always, is Mariah.
Hi, guys.
And today we are kind of going into this episode without any real agenda. We've just got a small smattering of little things that have been on our minds, so we might delve into a few of those. I do want to apologize ahead of time to our audience. I am getting over a bit of a cold here, so I might have to duck out with some coughs here and there, and my voice, I'm sure, sounds a little bit different than usual. But bear with us, and we'll get through this thing.
Yeah, we will.
Anyway, how's your week been, Mariah?
It's been good. Yeah, not too crazy. Just, going through the motions. How's your week been?
Oh, well, I've been sick, so it's kind of sucks.
Besides that.
Yeah, muscling work through it, and basically just trying to go to bed early every night. I think I slept between 8 and 9 hours every night, just trying to get through this cold.
Weren't you saying the other... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't really have any, home remedies for getting over colds. I used to chew raw garlic.
Yeah.
Thinking that could maybe kill a cold virus, but it never really did. And so this time I just kind of went at it with the attitude of just sleep as much as I can and drink as much liquids as I can. And this is one of the, well, I guess obviously I'm not over it yet, but I feel like I'm on the mend, and it's been about 5 days, which is pretty quick for me.
Don't you normally get sick for months?
Well, oh yeah. I'm normally sick for at least a month, at least.
Yeah. And you haven't been to the doctor since you were, 12, you were telling me the other day, which is crazy.
Yes, minus, I have seen a immediate care physician for the time that I had pneumonia. But as far as just going to see a doctor for a regular checkup or whatever, it's been since, I think I was 6 or 7 when I got my vaccines.
Wow.
And I think that is the last time I've seen a doctor.
That is insane. But you were saying your mom was a nurse, so maybe she was able to just take care of you, when you did get sick when you were younger, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Painful subject.
I don't
sorry.
really know. I honestly just don't know anything about health, and so I don't know if I should see a doctor just for a regular checkup or what. I might be
would suggest
carrying cancer without even knowing it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Besides the pneumonia thing, you need to have regular checkups.
Is that a early detection thing? Is that the reason for it?
I think it's staying ahead of the curve. Just going in at least once a year, just having your throat, ears checked. They listen to your breathing sounds. If there's any issues, with your skin or your hair or something, that's a good time to bring it up. Hey, I noticed that I started getting this, eczema, is that stemming to anything? But normally, it's just preventative. It's not really...
I see.
But then I know a lot of people only go to the doctor when there is a legitimate cause, when you went to the immediate care. But I don't know. I am kind of the belief that, just for preventative measures, just stay ahead of the curve and get regular checkups. But, I'm also a baby, and, a simple thing will, to me, is oh, well, I don't want to get cancer, so I should probably have this checked. And they're like, yeah, you're fine. I'm like, okay.
Which is probably the wise thing to do, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think I psych
things
myself out.
considered.
And you know, the internet doesn't help as well. You know, it's like, hey, I noticed my left side hurts, and then they're like, cancer. You've been dead for 3 years. Like,
you know how many times I have been convinced that I've got throat cancer because I have a sore throat that's lasted for like 2 weeks. Like, oh, this is it.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is finally my time. My time has come. I'm dead.
I
now.
mean, it could be a viral problem, like, or a bacterial virus, like, or well, yeah. You know what I
I'm
mean.
sure that is what it is every time. But every time that happens to me, a sore throat for like over a week, and I'm getting desperate, I'll get on WebMD, and one of the things that always pops up, but you know, stands out to me is possibly throat cancer, esophageal cancer, and that's what I get hung up on. And so that I think it was that fear exactly that drove me to see the immediate care physician last time.
So, last time I went to the doctor, I went for something. Oh, actually, it was my throat. I had an issue with my throat, and it felt like it was closing a lot. So I was like, oh, am I getting like anaphylactic? Like, what is this? Throat cancer? And I did go on WebMD. Now, guys, I did work in the emergency medical field for a little bit. So you would think I would just go to the doctor and, like, you know, be calm about it. No, I went to the doctor and was like, I went online and it said this, this, and this. And she was like, she rolls her eyes. This PCM of mine rolls her eyes and goes, please don't do that. She's like, I have so many people doing that to me. She's like, you will only end up with more fear and anxiety for simple things. She's like, it's silly. She was like, I have girls coming in who think they have AIDS. And
Oh my god.
yeah, we're armchair physicians.
That's the term. I was trying to remember the term that you had used a couple months back,
Armchair
yes.
professionals annoy
Armchair
the
professional.
hell out of me. Like, I'm sorry. Just because you've gone to 6 counseling episodes with your therapist does not make you a licensed therapist. I'm going to tell you right. I'm going to tell you right now. Guys, I've been going to therapy for 5 years. I do not claim to be a therapist. You know why? Because I didn't go through the training for it. So when people call and tell me, you should probably go to therapy, that annoys me because it's like, you know what? My therapist said that I didn't need to unless I wanted to come in and check once a year or my issues got worse. She excused me and I'm good. And I'm going to trust my licensed therapist to tell me what to do.
Well spoken. Well spoken.
It annoys me. Yeah, like, there are so many armchair professionals. They just sit behind the computer and, you know, tell other people what to do. And it's like, I'm sorry. Did you go to school for political economics or social economics? No.
Oh, goodness. Well, on a somewhat more practical level, are there any home remedies that you use that you think do work for something like a common cold?
I know what my mother tells me to do every time.
And when you do it, do you think it helps or
No, because
Not
I
so
never
much,
do
no?
what she tells me.
Oh,
It's so
okay,
bad.
well, that makes things a little easier.
Every single time I've told my mom about anything, she's like, oh, just get an oregano pill. Swallow an oregano pill. It takes away everything. Or apple cider vinegar. I'm sorry. I cannot swallow apple cider vinegar. I would rather... I mean, I've had real moonshine, and that didn't bother me as much as apple cider vinegar did.
Agreed.
Or,
Agreed.
like, yeah, no,
Shit's
just
the
we're not
worst.
going to go there. Yeah, and then oregano, it just tastes like pizza burps. Like, you get, like, these burps for the rest of the day, and it just tastes like old pizza, and it's, like, nasty. I've had the garlic one, but right now I think what I normally turn to is just hot water, lemon, honey, and ginger. Like ginger's really good for your immune system and really good for your stomach. So I just normally turn to that. Honey is normally good, like local honey. Is good for your throat. Sometimes I add a little cayenne pepper because that's really good for your immune system as well, and it's good for your heart. But, you know, some people probably shouldn't have cayenne pepper. Yeah, but I think it's important to be aware of like what you're prone to, what health issues you already have, before you do start taking simple home remedies, you know. I don't know. That's my thought process on it.
Yeah.
But everyone can do whatever they want because I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I really wonder if there is anything that can cure a cold, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you can speed
I think
along the process that it runs through your system, but I don't know that at the end of the day that there really is something that will kill a cold virus.
Well, also people are different from one another, so what may work for one
yeah.
person may not work for another. I mean, I know that in the past, emergency, I would just literally take like 8 emergency packets throughout the day. And I noticed that my cold would go away faster. It wouldn't go away immediately, but the vitamin C boost certainly helps. But it's not the same for other people, so yeah.
That is weird. Somebody the other day told me that vitamin C being good for moving a cold along is a urban myth.
Really?
And I mean, this person that told me was not a doctor, so I
was gonna say armchair professional.
But yeah, he was like, "Yeah, all this emergency crap that doesn't help." I was like, "Oh, that's not what I've heard."
Oh,
So,
well, I do know
goes to
that
show.
with the specific brand emergency, there is other things in it, other ingredients besides just straight up vitamin C. And you know, the best thing to do is just eat your fruits, you know, that have vitamin C in it. Or actually bell peppers have a really high amount of vitamin C in them. So like,
no kidding.
yeah, I guess it's higher than an orange. That's what I've read. Or the vitamin C content is higher than an orange. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think just having a balanced lifestyle and diet, I think, is good enough, honestly. And then just getting regular checkups to make sure that there's no deeper lying issues. I don't know. I think that's the best anyone can do, honestly.
Agreed. All right. Well, before we jumped on the air, you sent me a little video. It was a welcome video made by some girl who you told me is starting or has started a cult.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you my reaction to watching just the welcome video. I mean, it had almost zero content in it. I had no idea what in the world this cult is about. But I will say that the video had me intrigued. It was catchy. She used this this music that is kind of right up my alley. It's got like some eerie psychedelic noise in it with like the driving beat, and that's my thing. As well as like the collages and the imagery she was using in the video. Like this is all artwork that I really get impressed with. But it's for a cult. So I want to know more about this cult and how you came to even hear of it in the first place.
Yeah, okay, so basically, I was on YouTube and came across this video by Primink. He kind of he looks into the history of a lot of YouTubers, and he's very, I would say I'm trying to think of the right word. He's funny, but he does piss a lot of the YouTubers off because he likes to like almost expose who they are.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah, because he looks into like their actual like real life character themselves and sees like if there is anything deeper going on than what they present themselves as on the internet.
Yeah,
so he
he's a
does get
critic.
himself into a lot of that's the exact word I was looking for.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
a critic.
All right. That's what I'm here for.
Thanks, Ethan. So I watched it, and it was basically on Unicole, which is the girl who started it. Her name is Nicole. I don't know what her last name is. And he just kind of went into, like, how it caught his eye and who she was. And then he went into, like, he believes that there's a darker side. And when you do start to investigate, it does seem like the case.
All right. So first off, how many people are following this Unicole?
I actually did not find that. So she does perform cam churches, and not a whole lot of people view it, actually, which I thought was weird. I did see her Instagram. She does have about 13.7 thousand followers.
Holy shit.
On
I'm looking
Instagram,
at
and then
her YouTube has 10.5 thousand subscribers.
Yeah. But if you look on her specific cam church videos, it doesn't rack up that amount of numbers. But she also does have another Instagram, which is Eve's Robot Dreams, which is basically a sex bot. And that only has 269 followers, which I believe she just started recently.
Okay.
But basically, this cult believes in aliens, sex robots, and unicorns.
So, I mean, like, how so? I mean, are they all related, or are they all just, like, separate things that are a real thing?
I believe in Nicole's mind they are related. I'm not sure. So she seems sweet. It seems like she does want to help the community, and that's mainly what her go-to phrase is she's just trying to bring joy to people. But there are just, like, several things that come out as shady, like a sex bot. I don't know how that's included in, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to judge her. She did used to work for IBM, and I believe she grew hopeless at one point, and so she decided to go out into the wilderness and OD, and her father ended up finding her. And during that period of time, she ended up coming across this Arcturian spirit who spoke to her via telepathy, and that's where Unicole began. So there's Nicole. She has several characters. There's Nicole, which is just a regular, fun-loving girl, and then there's Unicole, who goes over, like, the more of the religious side of things. But her videos are very artistic. I will say that. It looks like something that you would probably want to watch while you were on LSD or shrooms.
That's very much the impression I got from the welcome video.
Yeah, and so she has these videos, but a lot of them contain, like, flash content, like so I guess I'll back up a little bit. Her welcome video, which was the first video that I watched from her, I think it's like 55 seconds long, or a minute long. I don't know why I was that specific. In her welcome video, it starts with her saying, "You are getting or you are being brainwashed." So, like, there's nice music happening and, like, these spinning circles, but then in the background it's, "You are being brainwashed. You are being brainwashed." And you're like, wait a minute, this is a welcome video. There was no warning that you would be brainwashed in this video. Now, I don't know if it's, like, true, or, like, if you can be brainwashed by what she's doing, but, like, I feel like you should get a little warning with that. And then within that, the next thing was, "Accept me as your prophet. Accept me as your prophet. You are being brainwashed." And then it was, "Give me your attention." And that's literally the video. And I feel like there should be a little bit more warning to that, and especially if a kid comes across this video. They're gonna see, oh, unicorns, pretty colors, pastels, pretty girl, like she's very pretty, I think, and she seems super sweet. And then for this to flash across the screen without warning, I don't know, it seems a little sketchy to me.
Well, yeah,
but you said you enjoyed the video.
When you're trying to bring new cult members into the fold, then yeah, you're not going to put a warning ahead of the video. You're going to dive right in and, yes, try to hypnotize your viewers. You are being brainwashed.
I guess, but does it really work that way?
Give me your attention. Oh, I mean, like you mentioned, if it's a young enough and impressionable enough a viewer,
audience, yeah,
looking for a prophet, so to speak. What
or
better
looking
way
for
than to
hope
just get right
in general.
to the point? Yeah.
I don't know. So at first I thought this girl was just sweet. I liked the colors, I liked the patterns, and then I started watching her videos, and then I actually went on her website and her Instagram and like started doing a little bit more studying. Another video that I watched is called Everything is Divine, and she's sitting in this bedroom with like these blue sheets that are printed with like clowns, and clouds printed with clouds, and she's playing on the harp, and on the sign it says everything is divine. Now this is the girl who started this cult. This is what she decided to do. She felt hopeless, she tried to commit suicide, she ended up being saved, and now she just wants to devote her life to bringing joy to other people, right? And the way she's doing it is she's essentially preaching this message from this Arcturian spirit.
What is that message?
She, basically,
or your impression of it anyway. Whatever she's trying to convey. Like, what was your takeaway from hearing it?
I haven't found anything specific. I feel like you just have to watch a lot of her videos, and she doesn't get into a lot of specifics unless you join the cult itself. So I will get a little bit into that later on. But to me, a cult leader that is essentially running a religious organization, I feel like you should have some answers. And within this video, Everything is Divine, which is recent, she starts with everything is a simulation, and saying that when she's in bed alone at night, she cries out and wonders, is this really it? Is there anything more after this life? And she's just hoping, she says in the song, that it works in her favor, that there is something more than this life. And so it seems strange that even though someone who has appointed themselves as a cult leader and representative of this Arcturian spirit, it seems like for someone who should have a little bit more answers, I don't know why you would put out a song like this.
Is she maybe trying to make these videos like that was the way she felt before she had this Arcturian speak to her, or is this like where she's currently at, even with her newfound knowledge? She's still crying out at night. What is this all about?
I don't know. There's no explanation to this video. So I could understand if she said, like, this was something that I felt beforehand, or this is how I feel sometimes when I'm in a low. As a human in general, we all come across those feelings sometimes when we're alone and vulnerable. We do think, like, is this it? Like, so I can imagine if she had, but there's no explanation to it. It just says life is, or it says that everything is divine. So it conveys a weird message without the explanations, and that's why I feel like you do have to get involved in the actual cult to get any answers. But if you're posting content like this, I don't know if it gives anyone who is searching the right message. You know what I mean? I don't think it conveys the correct message. But she does end the song with... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would say that sort of... those are all the right words to say to encourage more clicks. They're
that's
like
true.
these open-ended truths that everybody feels to a certain extent. Like when you say the phrase "everything is divine," that resonates a little bit. I would say, maybe I'm making grand assumptions here, but I would say everybody can kind of understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is, everything does have sort of a divine quality about it. What more do you have to say about it? Click. I wake up in the middle of the night and I wonder what this is all about. Oh, everybody
See,
does that. Click.
that's the
you know.
malicious side to it, though. Like, if she does
Sure.
just want to spread joy, why are you concerned about more clicks? You know what I mean? You would be concerned more for the individuals receiving the correct message. That's what I would think. If I was leading a cult and I legitimately cared about my members and the people that came across me, I wouldn't be concerned about the views and stuff. Like, if they happen to stumble across it, okay, good. But I'm not going to sell out and try to just use keywords or flash words that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That make people...
Maybe she's got a grand tactic or a grand scheme in that the bigger of a, or you get more understanding of what it is she's trying to convey. So the more you can watch of her, the more she can draw you in, then maybe there's a higher chance of you signing up for real, quote unquote.
Possibly, but it seems like all of her videos are like this. Like, a lot of things are unanswered and will continue to be unanswered. And then just random messages like, follow me, I'm hypnotizing you now, like stuff like that. It doesn't seem to... I feel like you really do just need to be on drugs to like
This
follow
really
this
is
girl.
strange. Wow.
Yeah, and then this song, Everything is Divine, ends with, life is like a prison, life is heaven. That's it. What do you think of that? What is your interpretation, Ethan, to that?
Life is like a prison, life is heaven?
Yes. Does that make sense to you? Like, I don't get it. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know.
I can't say that I understand what she's saying, but it definitely has a meaning to me.
Really?
Life is a prison, 100%. I would agree with that statement. Life is a prison. Yeah. I mean, there's only one escape from it, and that's death. And we don't even know what's beyond that. So, yes,
but
I
what
understand.
about life is heaven?
Life is heaven.
Is it just maybe the possibility that it's our hope and also our destruction? Maybe like we love it so much, but it fucks us.
I'm getting two different impressions. One is kind of along the lines of yes, what you just said there. The other is that maybe this is all we get. You know, like there are a good number of people who believe in heaven after life, but what if life is heaven? Life is a prison. Life is heaven. That's kind of the one that hit me at first.
Okay.
Is that maybe a message that she conveys sometimes? Is this is all we get?
I have no idea, dude.
Okay.
I was more curious in the website.
What is her web domain to give her some free advertising here? What's her web address?
I guess it is free. We're not being sponsored by her though, guys. Just FYI. So the website is called Unicole Unicron. So UNICOLE UNICRON.com. And looking at her website, it starts off with blessings to all. Thank you for visiting my webpage on the internet. I am a pop star cult leader from space. I started Unicult to change the entire world into Unitopia. Please follow me on popular social media websites. I am literally happy that you specifically are here. And then a little bit below her picture, she says, your attention will lead you to deeper truths. She shares a link to her Gmail, Twitter, Instagram, and then there are several other pages that you can go on. So it says Magic for You, music, cam church, paintings, journals, and writing, Uniporn, shop, and Unicult. So,
oh my God.
From what I do understand, members of the cult do share their testimonies a lot on the YouTube, and they share their love for Nicole and how much Unicole has helped them develop as individual beings. They seem to like adore her, which I think is understandable. She is pretty. She seems, again, very nice.
I will also say for her, to her credit, she is very, very upfront and honest about what she's doing. I clicked on the tab Unicult, and it's just this little box you can put your email in, and says, submit your email for regular brainwashing. And then you type in your email, and then the button you hit to submit says, heal evil. I mean, at least she's not trying to hide the fact that what she's doing is cult activity.
I mean, it is cult activity. She literally calls herself a cult. So,
Right.
In a way, she isn't hiding what she's doing, but also there seems to be a lot of, need to know information. And
first off, there is a lot going on. People, if you want just a fascinating look at something, go ahead and look at this website. There is definitely a lot of something going on with this girl. Anyway, continue your thought there.
But yeah, so the spirit where she gets a lot of her information is the Arcturian spirit who met Nicole one day and saved her life, is what she claims. So I went a little bit into Arcturian aliens, and I don't know. I know we've discussed it before, Ethan.
Yes.
We've discussed this type of alien. Don't you have a friend who said that they speak telepathically to Arcturian aliens?
I know somebody who says that she has spoken with one.
Oh, she just has,
yes.
at one
not
point.
Not that she's able to whenever she wants, but I believe she told me there were 2 instances where she was visited by an Arcturian and had telepathic communication. Yeah.
Did she talk a little bit about the experience, or just that? I mean, I don't want to share her story.
Yeah, I tried asking her for specifics, and she tried to give me as much as she could, but she said the difficulty is that when you're communicating with another being telepathically, you're not using words or even language. It's just obviously I've never done it, so I don't even know how to explain what kind of communication it is, but it's a different kind of communication altogether. And from what I understand, it means that it is a communication that is unique to only the 2 parties that were communicating, or however many were. And so,
well, Ethan,
it's a type of communication that cannot be shared, so to speak.
Well, I do have if you do want to learn, I have a plug for you.
Okay.
Nicole actually teaches how to be telepathic.
Oh, okay.
But you do have to pay for the course, so I think it's like $20.
Of course. Well, that's very good value right there. Wow.
I don't know if it is. I mean, her campaign videos are pretty good. They're colorful and stuff. But yeah, so I decided to go in depth a little bit with Arcturian spirits, and that's where most of my research came down to. Is Arcturian spirits.
What did you learn about all that?
So what I learned is from the Alien Cyclopedia online, that humans, animals, basically our dimension is the third dimension, and then the fourth dimension. Do you know what the fourth dimension consists of, Ethan?
I have only recently heard of that idea, so no, I don't know the specifics.
All right, so I ended up finding out that there are 6 parts to the fourth dimension. Number 1 is the etheric plane. Number 2 is the lower astral plane. Number 3 is the kingdom of fairy, and fairy, F-A-E-R-I-E, so not F-A-I-R-Y. There's a difference. 4, the higher plane. Number 5, the mental plane. And 6, the spiritual plane. So I was like, oh, the Arcturians probably live on the 4th dimension. Nope. They live on the 5th dimension. And I believe Nicole at one point said that they also consist in the 7th dimension, but I did not see that on the encyclopedia. She probably got that from her buddy, her Arcturian pimp.
Yeah, she heard it straight from its mouth or brain.
Yeah, exactly. This dimension is without physical limitations. So what I found out was they can manifest themselves into our dimension and also the 4th dimension. They have blue skin, almond-shaped eyes, 3 fingers. Seems like they're short. Yes. They are telepathic in nature. The planet that they come from the Bootis galaxy, and I forget what planet it is, but I think it's like Arcturial or something like that. They claim to have bypassed sickness, or not bypassed, but they've claimed to figure out
they're above
healing
it.
Towards sickness. Yes, they've
sickness.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. So there's no sickness on their planet. They work in higher vibration frequencies, and their main goal is to ascend to the dimensions of the creator of the universe. That is like what people say is their main goal when they've telepathically spoken to them. They believe that the higher the frequency, the higher they are to the creator, and they can perform creation through thought because they've transcended so far. And they also wish to look out for humans. So apparently the Arcturians are the smartest and most advanced beings, but they also look to us little lowly humans for being the most advanced civilization. They decided that humans should be protected. So I guess there's this ship of theirs, Athena, that circles the Earth and protects us from darker alien forces, which I found a little strange. But yeah, so I investigated a little bit into that, and then I just wanted to know a little bit more about human connectedness to Arcturians, and I found out that there was this one guy. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. He seemed a little out there. This guy on this website, numerologist.com, he said that there are 14 signs that you are an archetypical or an Arcturian alien, if I can speak today. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's check out like what people consider Arcturian, But so anyways, I watched this guy's video, and I don't know, it seemed very generic, but I could be just being overly cynical. But here are the 14 signs, guys, if you want to know if you are an Arcturian alien. Number 1, fantastic teachers. So I guess they dwell, or they're very good at instructing others or showing others, like more, obviously, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Yeah. Number 2 is sole purpose awareness. I don't know.
Well, I take that to mean that you know and have always known that you've got one purpose in life, and you've kind of just made a beat on that. Yes, yeah.
I mean, I have always felt like I have a sole purpose, but it's never because I thought I was a more evolved being. I just felt like, oh, like,
you just
all right,
know what
this
you
is
want
it.
to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, I can understand it to an extent, but I don't think I would ever immediately jump to the conclusion that I have ascended above everyone else, or that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like there's
I'm glad for that.
I'm above you, Ethan. No, just kidding. They are frequently dissatisfied, and this reminded me of you, Ethan, so then I thought maybe you're an alien. No, I'm just teasing. They're competent pub speakers or public speakers. I wrote pub. Sorry, guys. They're competent public speakers, so they do really well speaking to others, just addressing people. They're highly creative, and they love traveling. Number 7, so that was 5 and 6. Number 7 is fascinated by technology, so they're very good with technological advances. Number 8 is they're sensitive to the environment. Number 9, prone to low blood pressure, which I thought was odd.
That is like the one physical trait has to do with blood pressure.
Yeah. They're prone to low blood pressure. See, like everything up to this point seems very generic, like highly creative. They love traveling. Like I'm pretty sure everyone loves traveling. What planet? Like, like what? Sensitive to the environment. I'm pretty sure we're all sensitive to the environment that we find ourselves in, you know. I don't know. Maybe not. They desire lasting change. Number 10. Number 11, they do not have many friends. So they're outcasts. Now, at this point, the guy did say, even though number 11 states that they do not have many friends, it could mean that they have a lot of like general friends, but they're not close to many friends.
Sure.
So you could have like 20 acquaintances, but you're not best friends with any of those 20. So that's what that meant. Number 12 is require personal freedom. So they like to be without bounds. Number 13, they love to ask deep questions. 14, they love planning, building, and organizing. I don't know. It still seems really generic. Like, it doesn't really point out that, very, one specific person is Arcturian.
Yeah, broad brushstrokes there. Anybody who really wants to convince themselves that they're an Arcturian could probably just minus the blood pressure bit. I wonder how many people went through the list. It was like, oh, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And then got to blood pressure. And, oh, shit.
Like, fuck.
Man, I've got high blood pressure.
How do I lower my blood pressure so I can be Arcturian? Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. It feels like if there are people who legitimately do see themselves as Arcturian, I feel like this list isn't helpful. I feel like it does kind of take out the uniqueness, you know what I mean? Because everything is so vague and non-descriptive. I mean, like, it also seems like it singles out loners. Again, just like the Unicole. It seems like people who, you know, are surrounded by people but don't have any close acquaintances. That would be something that would stand out to me. You know, that would be something that stands out and is like, wow, this is where I could find my place. This is the reason why I don't have many close friends. It's not because of who I am as a person. It's because of me being an alien and me being from another world. So, but if you look at Nicole, she seems to be highly creative. She obviously has a basic understanding of technology. I mean, she worked for IBM and she does a lot of her own camera work and everything. She's sensitive to the environment. I don't know if she has low blood pressure because she did not say that. She does desire lasting change. So I can understand, like, if you line these basic characteristics up to Nicole and what she's doing, it seems like it makes sense. But I don't know. So I did look into how to join the cult. It looks like there's an application fee. Of course. And if you don't want to join the cult right away, you can buy her book, which is like around $30. But the application fee can be purchased on Etsy. And the reason she has you purchase, it seems like, a physical copy is because she says that there's something to the physicality of filling something out and sending it versus online, which is weird to me because the basis of her entire cult is online and everything she does, like Cam Church and stuff, but she She at least wants this one physical thing. So I did read a couple articles on like people who have actually gone through it, and it seems like when they do fill out the application, there are things like, what is your annual income? Now, she says that the reason she asked that question is because she wants to see the demographics of her followers, just as in general, to understand, like, so I guess she said that the reason she sees, you know, being able to see the annual income, she sees that people who earn less are more giving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. But yeah, so that's why she asked for that. A lot of people send her drops of their blood, which I think is odd. But it's another like physical element. They have teachings, readings, prayers, music, energy that they send you, or Nicole sends you. She has job listings, so there's a listing on the website saying like, we would like for you to make articles or testimonial videos, that kind of thing. And so you can physically get like a job through Nicole. They have, again, uniporn, which I did not click on the link, but I don't understand why you would want to sell that. But that is a part of the cult, is the sex robots. So again, I didn't look into that.
Sex, for some reason, is always part of a cult. You can't have a cult without some
like
sex component to it. I've never quite understood why that is, but that's a thing.
It seems like sex is generally incorporated in anything spirituality wise. I know with the movement nowadays, like feminism, like everything is about the sexuality of a female, whereas like that was originally like what they were trying to do away with, was they didn't want to be acknowledged for their sex. I guess I should restate that. They didn't want to be not given opportunities because of their sex. But now it seems like the matriarchy is the most important thing. That was another thing about this, the Nicole. She says that the people that can join her cult are only females or non-binary identifying individuals. So men are not allowed to join the cult.
Oh, I've heard. Damn it.
Yeah, which is, like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little...
Well,
I don't know. I don't like
she's
it.
lessened her potential crowd by half.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I mean,
maybe she'll
guess,
revisit that policy. I can only hope.
I don't think she will. So her entire thing is she's trying to build up the matriarchy through the online cult. And so she's trying to bring down essentially the patriarchy through what she's doing. So I don't think she'll ever open it up to like men, which I don't understand. Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I feel like equality means equality for all. Like, yes, I don't think, you know, a lot of the... Why? What are you laughing about?
No, I mean, it's such a funny thing to me that somehow in all this that got overlooked, that originally it was about equal rights, and then somewhere along the way it's not about equal rights anymore. That fell away, and it's more blatant now than ever. It's not about equal rights anymore for some people. No. I mean, there are definitely some feminists out there who are just about equal rights, but the loudest does not seem like that's the case these days. But
I understand, like, men have been controlling in the past and, you know, have led to a lot of wounds, but
absolutely.
I don't think that we should start to discriminate against them. I think if you're a bad person, yes, there you go, but I don't think people should be just looked down upon because they are a male, you know, and they're not, and they identify as a male, you know. I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, am not really a fan of ideologies in general. I would much rather approach each case and each person on an individual basis.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't judge a person just because, they got a dick and balls on them.
Yeah.
Get to know who they are and then make your assessment.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't think a group of people should be judged because of certain individuals. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And that's what I constantly see. I feel like a lot of people in general want the best for the majority of the population, and I don't think I see a whole lot of evil men. I mean, politics is full of men who just want money in their place, but I don't know, the men that I know do not seem to be dicks, if you will.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be making
They're definitely
me feel
out there,
smaller.
but I would like to think that the majority of us are okay and are also for the idea of equal rights.
Yeah, and I don't think also shaming a group of people is the best way to teach them. Like, I would think that, like, hey, this has hurt us in the past. Let's work together and change this. I think I think people will be more open and willing to listen because of the vulnerability,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong. I mean,
I think humility is a lot more effective than brashness and pugnaciousness. That's
yeah.
in
And I
general
understand
not gonna get you
why
anywhere.
I understand why a lot of people do end up going that way, because they do not feel like they've been heard all this time,
course,
so I do
yeah.
understand it, but it's I think at least what we hear on social media is the loudest people. So
Right,
maybe
right.
the majority do not feel that way, but from what I see, it seems like they're just screaming from the rooftops and not getting much done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem to be slanted against men who want to identify as just a man, So again, she does not allow those people into her cult because she's trying to destroy the patriarchy. You can also buy locks of her hair, and it's like $1,000 for a lock of her hair.
Wow. Wow.
$1,000. I think it's a little extra
Does-
than that, but the basis is $1,000. That seems a little extreme to me.
Does she allude to any benefits to buying a lock of her hair other than just
I think it's just the
the
energy
souvenir
in
aspect
it.
of it?
I think it's
Oh,
the
she's got
energy of
energy
it,
in
or
okay.
maybe because she has the Arcturian spirit. I don't know, but I just saw that and was like, why? So basically, at the end of the day, I think she has good intentions, but I think she's probably going about it in a harsh way, because I would not join this cult. Like, just going straight up into it, like, when I have to pay all these fees, like, nobody has the money for this. We're all starving out here. Come on. It just, I don't know. I don't get a good feeling about it when I actually start to.
Yeah. It sounds a little questionable.
It does. I do want to go. I just saw this thing on her thing. On her website, she talks about healing evil.
I'm just gonna read off some. She's got so many videos. I'm scrolling through her site too. I just want to list a few of these off. She's got one titled God, one titled #GirlPower, Pop Spirituality, the evolution of American consumerism, Digital Pop Star, I'm Ascending and So Can You, Time, Enlightenment, Spiritual Revolution, Aliens Are Real, Riot Not Diet, Millennial Anthem, You Are, and the list goes on. That's, I don't know, not even half. So, interesting titles. I'm gonna watch a few of them just to see what she's about, or see if I can get a reading on it. But
Yeah, there is one Cam Church video that I actually saw, and it was, "Are you being brainwashed? Are you being brainwashed?" I don't know. I'm just singing along to the song, and it was like, what? What is this? Oh, it just seems so weird. I don't know.
ooh, she's got a video here called "Learn a Magic Spell."
Oh, her unicorn tab was taken down. It says this is no longer found at this location.
Oh.
Strange.
She's got paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I love this kind of art. This is really cool stuff. I don't know, something. Tell me what you think about this. My most favorite people have always been a little bit crazy, just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some of them actually very crazy. It seems to me that genius or revolutionary ideas are birthed out of craziness. Kanye West is a great example. Kanye West is such a bizarre character, but I can see the brilliance in him, so I've been a fan. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Am I crazy for saying that, or do you agree with me? Like the coolest people have a touch of crazy, and you can see the brilliance in it for some reason.
I mean, I guess a good example would be Van Gogh. Like, people of his day thought he was out there, but now we know him as this wonderful artist. And yes, we do know that he had a crazy streak, but we also know that he is. Yeah, I don't know, though. I don't know about Kanye West. I feel like he's just mad. Like, straight out of his head.
Well, here, one of the things he totally, he proudly owns his bipolar disorder. He calls it a superpower. The title of not the last album was Jesus is King, but his album before that was titled "I Love Being Bipolar. It's Awesome."
I mean, he does certainly seem to have a sensory disorder. The few videos that you did send me, what was it, that long one that you sent me? I only watched like 20 minutes of it.
Is that the one where he was explaining his conversion to Christianity?
Yes, and he was talking about like constantly switching his jacket. And I was like, what? Nobody even cares that you switched your jacket. Oh. Like, you had, like, nobody knows the previous side to this, like, interview, like, where he's discussing his, like, oh, should I wear the blue fleece or should I wear the whatever else he was trying to decide?
Yeah.
He just kept talking about, like, the feel of it and the right color and it being the right texture for the video and how fleece is up and coming, and I was like, what? Kanye, like, what?
It sounds absolutely bonkers, and it's so easy to write the guy off completely because he'll say stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. But I did want to know, so in one of the videos you also sent me as a preview, he mentioned that he has a disorder where he can see sounds. Is that true? Do you know if that's true? What is that called?
He calls it synesthesia, I think.
Okay.
I totally forgot to send this to you, but it's one of my most favorite videos on the internet. I wish I knew the name of these guys, but it's one of these YouTubers who will take people's quotes, auto-tune them, and put them to song.
Okay.
And he did that with some of Kanye's most bizarre utterances.
Really?
And that's one of the prominent lyrics that's used in the song is, "I have synesthesia, I can see sounds." I'm totally gonna post this video to the Notion Club Facebook page because it will make your day, I promise you. No matter what you think of Kanye, this video is damn hilarious.
So, okay.
But yes, as far as I'm aware, I have heard of this being a real thing. If Kanye West has it or not, I have no idea. He may have just been saying that in the moment. But he certainly makes music as if he does see sounds, though.
Yeah, he seemed genuine. Like, that's what I was wondering, if you knew more about it, because he just mentioned it for like 2 seconds and I was like, wait, what? Like, I've never heard that. But again, I don't know much about Kanye. So for our listeners, Ethan mentioned like, hey, let's do just a podcast where we don't really have an agenda. And I was like, cool, that sounds great to me. Because we were originally going to go with looking in depth into the Hollow Earth conspiracy, and we just both felt very like it was so dry. We were just like, no, we don't want to do this. So Ethan brought up the idea of just doing whatever happens and publishing it with whatever's on our mind. So we decided to do that, and then he mentioned that he wanted to speak about Kanye, and I was like, oh, I don't know anything about Kanye. I don't even think I've ever heard his music before. And Ethan,
which
you
I
sent
found
me
really hard to believe. Like,
yeah,
I've never listened to Kanye West.
I know, we've been best friends for how long now? Like, I mean, and you're a fan. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
But wait, how long have we been best friends?
Oh, geez. Has been 5 years?
5 years? Okay. It feels like
Somewhere in
longer,
that
but it also
ballpark.
doesn't feel that long. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really bad at timelines like that, so you might want to fact check that for me. But I just the ballpark number that's coming to my mind is 5 years.
I just remember wanting to be, I mean, I'm not trying to go down the rabbit hole on this one, but I just remember meeting you for like the first time. And I told Ryan, he was my boyfriend at the time, that I was like, he's so cool. Like, do you think he'd be friends with me? And he was like, I don't know, I guess. Because we went over to your apartment and you had this like grown-up candle on your coffee table, and it was by Anna, and it made you uncomfortable because of what she wrote on the candle itself. Do you remember what it was?
Yes. Okay, yes. So this was actually our friend Anna. She did not make the candle. It was a joke made by other friends.
Oh, okay.
Because they had heard that I had kind of an odd reaction, if you will, to a friend of ours, Anna. One time, the two of us were in some coffee shop or something, and they were selling candles there, and she kind of put one in my face and said, "Smell this. It smells orgasmic."
Yes.
and so yeah, some other friends made me a candle that was titled Orgasmic.
Yes. So you explained the story at your apartment, and the way you reacted to it even then was funny. And I was like, he just seems so cool. And then we smoked these cigarettes with like clove in them or something in your
Yes,
kitchen,
yes.
like out the apartment window, because you couldn't smoke in the apartment.
I'm amazed that you remember that.
Yeah, and then
until you had brought that up the other day, I had completely forgotten about Jarums.
yes, and then you were telling me about your roommate at the time, and I just remember leaving and being like, he is so cool, I want to be friends with him. And Ryan was like, I guess, like, what? Like, you guys do have to understand, like, when I want to be friends with someone, I'll, like, obsess over it for, like, a month and be like, okay, if I do this, maybe they'll like me. So Ethan over here didn't know what he had coming. Now he's stuck with me.
I mean, obviously, I wanted to be friends, too, but the funny thing is, I think it was probably a solid year before I even saw you again.
Yeah, it was.
It was a very, very long time.
And I thought you were like so cool. But nope, didn't see ya. I don't even think I requested to be friends with you on Facebook when I had it right away. I think I waited a good while because I was like, I don't want to seem like a freak. Like, but yeah, so so you have been a friend of Kanye, and I have really never listened to him. And until recently, when you were asking like what songs I had heard of, I had only ever heard what was the song? It was the N-Word in Paris.
Yes.
That was the
and,
only song I've ever
Gold Digger.
listened to. Oh yeah, Gold Digger. Yeah, and you were telling me that he like hates that song too, right, Ethan? Like.
Yeah. So he says that when he made Gold Digger, he didn't care for it, but he knew that it was going to be a commercial smash, so he put it out. And sure enough, it is like one of the highest played rap songs of all time.
Yeah, and I just honestly didn't even know who it was. Like, I like rap music and I like trap music, but that is not the way that I lean is towards Kanye West. And the only other thing that I knew about him as well was that he was married to Kim Kardashian. That was literally it. And I only know about the Kardashians because my sister watches and loves them. So she'll, like, tell me about it. And my mom... She tells my mom about it, so my mom tells me, even though my mom doesn't like the Kardashians. My mom will just call me and talk to me for hours about Kim Kardashian and Abby's obsession, and it's like, all right, guys. I did tell my mom the other day, Ethan, that you and I had just talked about, like, Kanye for, like, 10 minutes, and then she ended up talking to me for like 4 hours about it. I was like, oh my God. And then,
about Kanye?
Yes. And then she sent me like,
what did she have to say about Kanye?
So she is disappointed. I come from a church background, guys. She was disappointed in the Christians' reactions to Kanye being converted. And she says that she believes that the Christians are wrong to judge that he hasn't truly been saved. And then my mom sent me like all these articles and videos, and I was like, haha, thanks, I'm never watching these, but okay. But she was actually like fully invested, and I was like, who are you, you know? And I was like, wow, Ethan probably would have a better podcast with my mom at this point.
Well,
considering what they want to talk about.
it was a really, it was like the thing being talked about on social media. I mean, as in my circles anyway.
I hadn't
like
even heard of it
for
in
like
my
an entire
circles.
week. Yeah, because I mean, the guy went from being the biggest rap star in the world, and you know, being 100% immersed in that lifestyle, being married to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, like, it didn't even take long. It was like a matter of 2 months from the time he first started talking about Jesus to the time he puts out this album. Jesus is King in all caps.
Yeah.
And he has since, you know, to promote the album, gone on every talk show imaginable and has just 100% dedicated himself to this new lifestyle, if you want to call it that. Sworn off swearing in his music, and sure enough, Jesus is King doesn't have a single cuss word. Even
did he swear a lot previously?
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
I mean, as much as any other, you know, musician. And yeah, I mean, he's like done a complete 180 in lifestyle. And of course, Christians, as your mom has pointed out, a good many of them are saying this can't be real, this isn't real. Kanye is so bad that he's irredeemable.
What? Isn't that the entire point of Jesus? Nobody is irredeemable.
It's kind of funny hearing that. Like, okay, well, geez, I mean, I guess the door is shut to some people, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody can really know what's going on in Kanye's heart. So if this is, you know, one of his steps in his development of life, great, good for him. I'm glad that he's found something that gives him purpose in life. That's
yeah.
Awesome.
Isn't that the most important thing? Is he's happy? He seems genuinely happy, and shouldn't we as humans just be genuinely happy for him? Like, why are
Yes,
people
yes.
so quick to jump on him? I don't get it. And I don't understand why most people are quick to jump on celebrities' backs when they seem to do something irredeemable. I mean, I can understand if like someone was raped because of a celebrity or something like that, or something like, you know, I can understand like something dishonorable coming out of a celebrity and people like shame them, but he doesn't seem to be hurting anyone else. He's not hurting anyone else. So why are we jumping on him?
Kanye is just purely an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And he, just like anybody else, goes through life and draws inspiration. And anything that can give an artist inspiration, I say go for it, you know?
Yeah.
And as a result, he's put out this beautiful album. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it yet or not, but this album, Jesus is King, it's a great album. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I don't think it's his best album, but it's great. Mm. I got chills listening to it the first time.
I know my mom listened to it.
Oh, I'm sure she does. I'm sure she loves it. I mean, I'll definitely say this, and it's probably not exactly fair of me to say because I'm not really a fan of Christian music. Christian music, in general, most of it sounds very uninspired. It's like something that Christian bands put out because they have to. I probably shouldn't be that judgmental. Maybe it's just a matter of taste. But but this album, Jesus is King, is by far the best Christian album I have ever heard because it sounds inspired. It came from a very real place of conversion. And so my biggest frustration in seeing all the discussion about Kanye on social media, even the people who totally welcomed him, the thing that to me got lost in the entire debacle, if you will, is the music itself, the album. Nobody really seemed to talk about the album.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I did kind of today want to talk just a little bit about the album because I think it's great and I think it deserves to be talked about.
Do you remember, though, real fast, in some of the videos that you sent me, he doesn't even seem to talk about his music. He seems to talk more about his fashion industry and who he is as an individual. And he talks about how he wants to make the world a better place, but he doesn't really explain how he's going to do that.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. He does not really spend much time on the music, and I don't know, maybe that's his fault. Maybe that was on Zane Lowe, the interviewer. But no, you're right. Even he himself has spent a lot more time talking about his lifestyle, rather than the music. But I'm kind of disappointed in that too, because he's an artist making art, and when he makes the art, nobody's really paying attention to that as much as the implications of the art.
Yeah. And maybe that's on his part, though, is why everyone's focusing on him changing his life around.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, it is really, really fun to talk about Kanye West and his life and the things that he says. It's way more fun to... I think it is. It's fun to speculate and what's he gonna do next? What's he gonna say next? He truly is the only person that I know of, when he goes on his diatribes, he makes sense, but at the same time makes no fucking sense.
He makes no fucking sense. The videos you were sending me, the one on where he was having an interview with Ellen, it frustrated me that he only looked at the crowd and not at Ellen at all. And you could see it on Ellen's face too, that she was like, "Hey, I'm over here. Like, we're supposed to be having a conversation together." And all he kept doing was looking at the audience and like projecting very loudly about himself, I think is what the... I was just like, what is he even saying? Like, some of it made sense, like you said, and then the rest of it just made no fucking sense. Like,
It makes sense, but
he seems like a nice guy, but he just seems a little crazy.
You know what? Sometimes I think to myself, he sounds like a person who's just had an LSD breakthrough.
Maybe.
like he clearly sees something, but he just does not have the right words to convey it.
Oh, yeah, and I understand that because I'm the same way. Like, when I have a clear thought about something and it comes out jarbled and like the other day when I texted you that long message about like not recording on Friday. I was legitimately concerned about your throat, and I was like, hey, I won't be home till 5 p.m. But it ended up being like a paragraph long, and you were like, I don't understand what you just said. Yeah, and I even admitted like this makes no sense.
Yeah, at the end of that, I was just like, well, I don't know what exactly she's trying to say, except that it's fine if we don't record tomorrow. So
yes, and that's the ultimate, like, that was the ultimate
that's
destination.
all she was trying to say, so. All right, getting back to Kanye and the music itself. Again, overall, I think it's a great album. It sounds inspired. But I want to name, for me, what my standout tracks were. The first one that I love is titled Selah, or Selah. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that word, but it's that biblical word.
I think it's Selah.
Selah, okay.
Yeah.
My number one favorite on the album is called God Is. Kanye, you can hear the sincerity in his voice when he's singing that one. Mariah, I know I made you listen to that one. Can you relate to what I'm saying at all? Like, it's just so heartfelt. Especially from somebody who's not even really, I don't think he would even call himself a singer. He's a rapper and a producer, but in this one he sings it, and he's just got a real sincerity in his voice that most great singers struggle to find. And it's when they do that they become great, and I think Kanye has found it.
I honestly kept thinking about how weird he sounded.
Oh, okay, well, there's
like,
your second opinion.
Hear me out. Right. I felt like it was not what I thought Kanye would sound like when he sang.
Oh, right.
If that makes
right.
sense.
Yes.
He sounds different than his like talking voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept thinking about that, but I also thought it does seem like he does have a sincerity. He seems to have a very particular view upon who God is to him, which I feel like some people would not resonate with, or be able to relate to. But I'm happy he's found what works for him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it does seem like it is coming from a very particular point of view, which is, I mean, good for him,
Yeah.
I did like the rhythm, though. The rhythm was very good.
Yeah, that's good feedback, I would say. I just want to pull up the lyrics of that song. God is my light in darkness. God is. He is my all in all. Everything that hath breath, praise the Lord. Worship Christ with the best of your portions. I know I won't forget all he's done. He is the strength in this race that I run. Every time I look up, I see God's faithfulness, and it shows just how much he is miraculous. I can't keep it to myself. I can't sit here and be still. Everybody I will tell till the whole world is healed. He goes on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's when you read it like that, it kind of reads as your typical worship song. But again, seems, when Kanye's delivering it, it's something else. It's so much more inspired than what I normally hear.
I don't think it sounds like a typical Christian song. I think it sounds like a psalm, actually, from the Bible. It sounds like a psalm.
Everything that hath breath, praise
it
the
seems, Lord. Yeah, it seems very much psalm-like, which, I think the psalms are very pretty. They're very spirit-filled, so I can understand why this would sound similar,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds similar to me. But again, I think it's very from a particular point of view, and I don't think a lot of people would resonate with it.
Okay.
Which is maybe why some of his fans don't seem to be hyped about this album.
Yeah. I have some thoughts on that as well, but I'll just first mention my the last standout track to me is called "Use This Gospel," and in this song, Kenny G is a guest on this track, and he has a tremendous saxophone solo.
Really?
And in the context of the moment in the album, it took me into a really cool, wonderful place. I don't know how you feel about saxophones, Mariah, but I
like that.
I
That's
love
cool.
saxophone, and it just comes out of nowhere. Like it's kind of a big song. It's Kanye West, and then all of a sudden it cuts, and Kenny G kicks in with a solo saxophone, and it's great.
That's cool.
It's another really inspired moment. But then,
Do you think?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think with Kanye's title, it will attract a lot of listeners just so that they can see what he's doing, and thus maybe consider what he's writing about? Or do you think it's just going to detract immediately from people listening because of what he's labeled it?
It's hard to say. I did see a report or an article about one Sunday service that he had. He's touring, and he's calling his show, if you will, Sunday service. In one of them, there was a report I think that I saw that he had a few hundred people come up and pray with a pastor that they have in their service.
So they had like that altar call.
Yeah. I saw just last night, I believe the show that he put on was yesterday. He did it in a prison, and there were a number of people who were incarcerated folks who were very, very moved. You could see it. They shot video of it, and it was very powerful stuff. So anyway, I don't know if that's directly answering your question, but to the extent that people who are listening to this album, it does seem to be having an impact. And I think that it is the intended impact that he has.
I do think music, I guess reading mythology and lore and stuff, and history in general, there's a lot of music throughout human history.
Yes.
And music seems to be a key factor in a lot of spirituality or religions. So I can see why people would be reacting within this.
Music is divine, in the sense that it's transcendent. We don't really know why music moves us the way it does.
Yeah.
It becomes a little bit more understandable when you listen to music on LSD. But
Yeah.
it I don't know, in my opinion, music is divine. And if you make your music with the intention that it's going to help somebody get to a divine place, then yeah, it's a pretty effective tool, I would say.
And if he already understands, like we were talking about before, if he can literally see notes and sounds.
He sees sounds. He's got synesthesia.
He sees that it's... he sees how key it is.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
this conversion of his, he's like, wow, I want to make a difference in the world. I know how much music and sound means to me. I want to share that with others.
Yes.
Do you know if the Sunday services, do you know if you have to pay to get in?
I don't know 100%, but I read another report last night that today he was bringing his Sunday service to Joel Osteen's church. And
okay.
That is a whole nother conversation. But from what I was reading, he did not charge for the tickets, but people who were able to get them are now turning around and selling them. So now they're like, anybody who really wants to go has to pay to go to church.
Okay.
So obviously it's not Kanye's fault, but as far as his regular shows, I don't know. We could probably
I would
look
assume
that
his
up,
regular shows he would. I mean, that's what musicians do. They go on tour and sell tickets and.
Yeah.
I was
He's
just
gotta make a
wondering
living.
how. Yeah, I was just wondering how it differed from Sunday service. I mean, what is he calling himself though in these Sunday services? Is he just a musician? Is he like the choir Like what is he calling himself?
I think if you were to ask him that, he would probably respond with something like, "I am a vessel of God."
Okay, that's not descriptive enough, though. Like, I guess I'm looking at it from a Sunday service like point of view, though. Like, what is he?
Yeah, that's just a mantra, if you will, that I hear him repeating in all of his press. I am
Okay,
a vessel of Jesus. I am allowing God to use me.
I know you really want to get back to the music, so I don't want to keep
No,
asking
that's
you
okay.
different things. But
Again, this is
things
something
keep
really
popping up in
fun
my
to
mind.
talk about for me. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, do you think? I'm not trying to jump on the board with like people who don't believe in his conversion or whatever. But do you think because he's a fashion icon, if you will, or an icon in general, do you think he's just calling his literal concert Sunday service to be different from the crowd?
Oh, you mean from like other
know what I
rap
mean?
artists out there?
Yeah.
something
To set
radically
himself.
different?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's gonna catch on, or do you think it's legitimately like he feels like it's a worship service?
Well, having never actually attended one of his Sunday services, I can't really tell you. I will say I know that he put out a live stream of one of them, so you can go and watch it. I've kind of held off from watching it because I hope one of these days I can attend
Experience
one.
it.
I mean, I know Chicago's his hometown, so I know he's brought it to Chicago, but there's
Chi-town.
way too much demand right now for me to be able to go. But one of these days I'd like to experience it. I did watch a very, very grand version of Carpool Karaoke with James Corden. But it was
My
like,
mom told me to watch that.
Yeah, but it wasn't in a car, it was in a plane, and it was with his whole music crew. And they, I think, give you a taste of what Sunday service is. And it really is straight up like going to church and singing praises. I'm sorry, what was your question? Oh, yeah, is he trying to just be different from everybody else?
Yeah. Is he doing the same thing that everyone else is doing and then just relabeling it is basically what I'm asking.
It doesn't look like it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it sure seems like he's trying to do a sincere thing and not just trying to repackage a rap show.
Okay.
It's like I said, I mean, he's clearly bringing people up to the altar and, converting people.
Yeah.
So it's having that effect somehow.
So back to the music.
Yeah.
Is he rapping for the majority of the album? Does he sing for the majority of the album? Like,
I would
what
say it's
is
about
the
half and
style
half.
generally? Okay.
It's about half and half. On Selah, it's rap. I do want to mention the one and only track on here that I don't like. And it's the track called Closed on Sunday, where he has the refrain, "Closed on Sunday, you my Chick-fil-A, you're my number one with the lemonade." I'm sorry, Kanye. I think you can do better than that. I see what you were going for, but lyrically, it's a little hacky. But
also, like, who is this supposed to be about? Kim?
That's another good question. I don't even really know. It kind of it could be a love song, but
I mean, I don't think Kim's closed on Sundays, though.
You're probably
And what
right.
is lemonade? Lemonade is great. Like, oh my gosh, I get the craving for Chick-fil-A lemonade. I don't really care for
That's
Chick-fil-A in general.
the only drink
But
that
lemonade-
I get at Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Oh, it is so good. It like every once in a while I just crave it.
All right, here's the lyrics to Closed on Sunday. Closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. Closed on Sunday, you my Chick-fil-A. Hold the selfies, put the gram away. Get your family, y'all hold hands and pray. When you got daughters, always keep them safe. Watch out for vipers, don't let them indoctrinate. Closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. You're my number one with the lemonade. Raise our sons, train them in the faith. Through temptations, make sure they're wide awake. Follow Jesus, listen and obey. No more living for the culture, we nobody's slave. Then it continues, stand up for my home. Even if I take this walk alone, I bow down to the King upon the throne. My life is his, I am no longer my own. I pray to God that he'll strengthen my hand. They will think twice stepping onto my land. I draw this line, it's written in the sand. Try me and you will see that I ain't playing. Now back off my family, move your hands. I got my weapons in the spirit's land. I, Jezebel, don't even stand a chance. Jezebel don't even stand a chance. What do you make
With the
of this
land
song?
part, do you think he's literally talking about his land in Wyoming?
I pray to
Don't
God that
step
he'll
on my
strengthen
land.
my hand. They will think twice stepping onto my land. He could very
Or
well
does
be
it-
talking about his endeavors in Wyoming.
That's all I could think of. I'm sure he means something else, but I just thought, wow, Kanye would say, like, don't step on my land.
Well,
Literally.
I did see that he just began breaking ground on his new property in Wyoming for an amphitheater.
For what?
So he definitely will be inviting people on for shows.
So what's your main takeaway from this album, though? Like, why do you love it?
Well, again, because
what is so fascinating to you?
it's again, for me, I totally understand that this might just boil down to taste, but it really is the first Christian album that I've ever heard that sounds inspired. Gave me chills when I listened to it and was like, wow, this is powerful stuff. Obviously, this Jesus is King album is fantastic, but I worry that a large reason for it being so good is because this is for him a brand new revelation. And that's why it sounds so inspired, because this is a new thing. And moving forward,
So are you saying
yeah,
that it'll like blow out though, like at some point?
that's one way of saying it. I was gonna try to be a little bit more diplomatic about that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys.
Let me see if maybe I'm not even 100% agreeing with that statement. Let me try to phrase this the way I want it to sound. I guess I worry that this new dedication is in a way going to be a limitation that Kanye is putting on himself. In the past, maybe I'm totally getting this wrong, but to me, what makes Kanye is that nothing is off limits. I mean, I think of this track that's off his very first album, The College Dropout. The track's called Jesus Walks, oddly enough. In that song, the message is basically, nobody can tell me that I can't say certain things. In that song, Jesus Walks, he's rapping about how he can rap about gangster activity, this and that, dark things, but then as soon as he brings up Jesus, it won't play on the radio. And in the song, he's saying, you can't tell me I can't do that. I get to rap about whatever I want to rap about. And now he's intentionally putting limits on himself. No more swearing, no more, down and dirty subjects, if you will.
So you're saying you're afraid that he'll shy away from gritty topics that could go.
Not only the topics, but the things in life that give you inspiration, whether they be happy, sad, whatever they are. When you start putting limits on yourself, I think you also put limits on inspirations. Another great example of Ye being Ye is on his album, I Love Being Bipolar, It's Awesome. The very first track is called I Thought About Killing You. And this song, I mean, that's such a shocking thing to say. I thought about killing you. And it's dedicated to somebody in his life that he loves. But the message of the song is, don't be afraid to just put a thought out there. It's a thought. It's not going to hurt you. Put it out there. If you're feeling it, put it out. And by him, this is going to sound awful, but by him dedicating his life to Jesus and being a vessel of Jesus Christ, is that going to be the end of Ye as we know him? Or I know him anyway. But, all that being said, maybe I shouldn't worry, because if there's one thing that I should have learned by this point is that Kanye West never stops surprising, inventing, innovating, So, I mean, until he actually does put out less inspired work, I'm not going to be too concerned about it, but it is in the back of my mind.
All I kept thinking about was through Jesus Christ. No, wait. What is that saying? Well, first of all things are possible through Jesus Christ, so jot that down.
So make note of that.
So jot that down. When Mac says that, and it's always funny.
Yes.
I don't know. I get where you're coming from. Again, really
first
don't.
I should ask, did that make sense?
Yes. So you are afraid that because he is in now this box that is dedicated to God, you're afraid that he'll be boxed in, and this will be the best.
Not even that he'll be boxed in, but he's boxing himself in.
Okay, I get that, but I also think that for him, this is probably super freeing, and I think it's really brave of him to. Well, I don't want to use the word brave because
it is.
I don't think celebrities.
I will.
Can be
I
very
would
brave.
totally. Not in the sense that he thinks that physical harm might come about him in doing this, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a career risk.
Yeah, that's the right word. It's a career risk what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to believe in this full-heartedly, and I think that is. I think that's why it would
commendable.
continue going forward, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard for him if he ever decides to change his ways. If he decides this isn't the lifestyle for him, I think it's going to be really hard, and he'll get a lot of backlash. And I think that's why stating such a fact as he is, that he's dedicating his life to the Lord, if that ever changes, he's going to look very... people are going to be very... critical of him, as they are already now. If you start to think that people can be boxed in because of what they believe, I mean, who are you to think that, though? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I
what if
understand
you're
your point.
boxing yourself in by thinking that other people who believe a certain way are boxed in? What if you were the boxed in one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And
this is bringing him legitimate joy, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I feel like with his music and with maybe his career, even though he's going to be heavily criticized, I think that this is bringing him joy, and I think that would grow him rather than deflate him or destruct him.
Sure.
If you will.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very glad that he put out this album. And not only that, I'm glad that he's at this point in his life, in his journey, that he, has come to Christ. Obviously, this is the natural progression of Ye. I guess what I'm trying to say, my worry is that he might consider this not the finish line, but that this might be a inhibitor to his continued growth as Ye. But that isn't for me to say, that's for him to say.
Yeah.
And so,
or I guess for us to see as well.
Here's another worry that I have. If he does decide that his next album, or maybe it's a few albums down the road, is not a blatant gospel album, maybe he goes secular again, then the backlash from the Christians will come down with a fury that we have never seen before. And that will genuinely make me sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like when people are overly critical.
Right,
and normally it is the Christians who are.
It's bothered me that people who have never, in fact, I would say people who detested Kanye, all of a sudden now are the biggest fans just because he made a gospel album. It's like, there's something a bit disingenuous about that. You can,
I don't know
you,
about
you
that.
can,
I mean,
like the album, but then all of a sudden there's, I'm a huge Kanye fan. Now that he's put out a gospel album, it's like, no, you're not.
Oh yeah,
no,
I
you're
see
not.
what you're saying.
No, you're
okay.
not. That's what you call bandwagon fandom.
There's a lot of those. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm not that invested, so I don't care.
Sure. Yeah. And maybe I shouldn't be as invested as I am, but I'm a fan. I care about the guy.
I get what you're saying, though. Like, you know the Kanye before the Kanye, essentially. You knew when he first started. I don't know. I guess I'm not that invested, but I do understand where you're coming from. To you, you've heard his music. You've enjoyed his music, even in the worst of it. And now you've heard, essentially, what you think is the best of it. And you feel like people who are coming along and are just now fans because he's claiming to be Christian is dumb.
Yeah.
They're not taking him as a whole package.
Listening to you explain my frustration makes me realize just how stupid it is. Like, how trivial of me to be annoyed with people about this. But yeah, there it is. I am a little bit annoyed with bandwagon fandom.
And that's perfectly acceptable. I do understand that. It would be like someone coming onto Game of Thrones after. Well, no, that's a terrible example.
It's a perfect example of bandwagon fandom. I mean, I'll just make a confession here. It's like the Chicago Cubs. If somebody,
when they won the World Series,
was not a fan of theirs because they hadn't won a World Series in 100 years, but then as soon as they make it to the World Series, you suddenly buy jerseys and hats, and you show up to the parties, and you go, "Oh, I'm a huge Cubs fan." Fuck off.
Yeah.
No, you're not. But this is
this
is coming from a guy who, admittedly, jumped ship. I think I was 22 when I said I'm no longer a Cubs fan because I'm sick of seeing the losing. But give me credit.
Oh, that's right. You're originally from Illinois.
Yeah, I was a Cubs fan all my life.
That's right.
But give me credit. When they won the World Series, I did not jump back on the bandwagon. I said, no, I've made my choice. I'm now a Red Sox fan. So even if the
You're
Cubs
a Red
win,
Sox fan? Really?
how did you not know that?
I don't. I thought you were a Brewers fan, man. Like, come on.
No. Anyway.
I'm a White Sox fan, so when the Cubs went to the World Series, I did not jump on the bandwagon because obviously I'm a Sox fan. But I really was happy for them. I was hoping that, I think they lost, didn't they? They lost.
The Cubs?
Yeah, I thought they lost.
No,
Or
they
did
won.
I don't know.
They won. They won.
Guys, I was in England for like 3 years. I was away from America.
That's fair.
But the thing to me is I was legitimately happy for them. I guess that doesn't matter what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about bandwagon fandom. Guys, what are your thoughts about bandwagon fandoms? Do you think it's okay that people jump on, or do you think it can be explained, or do you not like it?
I suspect that
Comment.
Nobody likes a bandwagon fan, but it's very tempting to do, and so most people at some point will find themselves guilty of it somewhere.
I genuinely do not care.
And maybe
because
I shouldn't either. It again, like hearing it come from you sounds really trivial now, and I feel stupid for having these concerns.
No, don't feel stupid. No, it's to me, I know that I've jumped onto things later. Like, I wasn't able to watch Lord of the Rings until I was 17 because my parents wouldn't allow me to. Or no, 15, sorry. I don't know why I said 17. So all my friends had been watching it for years. I think I watched all three. So essentially I wasn't able to see those films, and it wasn't me jumping on because all of my previous friends had enjoyed the movies previously and told me about it. It was just because I wasn't able to be a part of that culture until later, by no fault of my own. And yes, the pressure from my friends enjoying those movies did certainly help sway me into viewing them and wanting to view them, but it did not make me be a fan. So I do think that there is an element of personal experience. So when people can just jump on a fandom just because they want to be cool or whatever. But I do think that there's a personal experience involved with most people who jump on a bandwagon because, it's something that in that moment they found was happy, hopeful, brought them joy, brought them peace, something like that, or they just enjoyed it. And so to me, people jumping on the bandwagon late or changing just because, wow, they're popular now, maybe it was just because they recently found it in their point of view. You know what I mean? They just found it on her horizon, and now they can understand why it's such a popular thing.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between being late to the party, but then there's a difference between showing up late to a party and deciding, oh, now that this person is a winner in my eyes, now I'm going to like them.
Yeah.
You were perfectly aware of them before, but since something about them wasn't pleasing you to your fullest extent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm being trivial.
What do we all know? This is the Notion Club. We just discuss ideas, guys.
That's right.
If you don't like our ideas, it's okay.
Yeah. Replace them with a better idea for us. How's that?
Yeah. Comment on our videos. Let us know what your thoughts are. But
Please
yeah,
do.
that is the point of this. That is the point of this podcast for us, Ethan, is for you to talk about your
My silly
your
notions.
thoughts on. Well, not silly notions. It's just thoughts that are on your brain, like something that's recently come up. And to you, it's been Kanye because you've always enjoyed his music, and now you're like. You're seeing this uprising within people, and you genuinely just want another opinion. You want to be able to depress all of this information, and that's what this podcast is for. That's the point where we can both talk and conversate about ideas and thoughts and books and music and anything like that. And yeah, I mean, for our listeners, get involved if you guys want us to talk about something specific, or you guys want a thought, or share your thoughts,
Absolutely.
hit us up or comment, that kind of thing. That's the entire point of this podcast. I think it's funny that we went from one fandom to another, though. Unicole and Kanye talking about the followers.
I'm sure somebody could find a common denominator in there somewhere, but they are very
I'm
different
just
topics.
curious to see what the unicorn porn or the unicorn involves. I don't want to watch it, but I just want to know,
we definitely
why?
wanna
Why
know
does it exist?
what it is. That's when we get off the air, we'll make a search.
I was a little disappointed when there was no. Well, you search it, Ethan. I don't want a virus on my phone.
Good stuff.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
All right.
I did think about joining the unicorn cult or the Unicole just to see what would happen. And then I thought about trying to find the book to read it. But then I was like, that's a lot of work. And
I at least
I don't
want
have time
to
for this.
watch the videos, or at least some of them, because it really is intriguing. It's yeah, I honestly don't know what I think about that whole realm of Arcturians and all that. It's a very, very specific thing that some people who to me are not insane and are not liars have had experiences with them.
Yeah.
And
I feel like she has gained a positive perspective on life. It seems like for the most part, she has been helped by the experience. I mean, she wanted to commit suicide. She was in a very dark place.
yeah.
And for her to find hope, I'm happy for her.
Right. Right.
As shady as the rest of it seems, she seems happy, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like Kanye, I mean, this is something that is bringing him happiness and peace, and I think we should be happy for him.
Yeah.
And
There's that
maybe
common
that's
denominator.
Yeah, maybe maybe why a lot of people jump on and are so critical of people in the spotlight who claim to have found peace or happiness. Maybe the reason why is because they haven't found it themselves. So yeah, I mean, when you guys, I think for myself, I know I've been very critical of Unicole just because I tend to be very critical of cults just because I've read a lot on how dark some have been, and it's really sad. But if it brings people happiness and ultimately doesn't lead to harm against a human individual, I think that good for them. And I would hope that every time before I start to be overly critical, I could stop and think, okay, is this because of, maybe some self-doubt I'm having, or is this literally me being critical because something seems off? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
I say that a lot. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't.
Never hurts to check. Because once in a while the answer
it a lot.
is,
Not really.
Not really. Could you try again? It does happen. So.
Yeah, I get stuck in my head a lot, guys. Sorry. I'm like Kanye. I'm in my head more than I am on the ground.
Well, I think
that's a really good place to wrap up.
I was just
right?
about to say so myself. I think we covered
All right.
some good territory today, and
Yeah.
I was glad to get.
We ended up finding a uniting chord to our subjects.
All right. Well, folks, again, we encourage you to drop us a line if you have any thoughts on any of these topics, or even if you'd like to hear us talk about something else. If you have an idea for a topic for us to play tennis with, drop us a line. All right, let's wrap things up. On that silent note, peace out, bitches.
Sayla. Bye.